Hello and welcome to Show Up, Stand Out online visibility series for entrepreneurs. My name is Juliette Stapleton. I'm a visibility strategist, and my guest today is, I'm so excited because I'm bringing you Emma Hammond, and Emma is a business leadership mentor and a digital marketing strategist. We are going to talk about how to spend less time marketing yourself online without compromising results. The best possible topic. Emma, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here.
I am so delighted because I know that we are going to really tap into this area that scares the bejesus out of most of our people in our audience. I know that for a fact, because it's all technology. Automation is the word that in itself is very kind of scary sounding. And it just, you probably imagine like a big data center and all these computers and you don't know what they're doing. But actually, it's so much simpler than that. How would you explain what do you do when you're helping to implement automation? What are we actually talking about?
The way that I explain it in a really kind of simple, easy to understand way is it's just different methods of getting your message out there, and just different ways of connecting with people. But obviously it's going to save us a lot of time because you pre-plan these things, you set them up beforehand. And then when they run on an automated basis, it basically allows you to connect with more people at the same time and get your message out there to more people. So kind of what I say, I work with messenger bots. So that's kind of part of the funnel, and that's part of my coaching strategy. And a lot of people they worry that it's going to come across as robotic, or that they don't want to, kind of send the same generic message to people and their fans out there. But I just say it's kind of similar to the content that you would put out there on your Facebook profile. So you would pre-plan that, and obviously you would put it out there onto your profile. And you're not talking to anyone, specifically, other than, you're marketing obviously to your ideal client. But the only difference with using automation, so using a lead page or using bots or anything like that, is that you can reach more people with this message directly at the same time. So that's what it's all about, really. As long as you're still being authentic, you're still coming across as you, and you're not using messages within these automated channels that don't sound like you. And as long as you use the same language, then it's just a way of reaching so many more people with your message at the same time.
It's so true. There is this resistance. There is this fear of sounding generic. And yet, when it comes to, say, email marketing, and we're sending an email that is actually quite generic and, not even as customized as with messenger bots, because messenger bots are automated conversations. People are getting choices. You can click on this button for this choice, this yes or no, or, so it's actually leading you through the conversation. No, let's just, guys, if you follow me, you know that I teach people how to build their visibility through their personal profile. Now, by saying that, I never say that you don't need to use your business page. Of course you do. It's just at the start, if you are the face of the business, then you will get connection to people, one-to-one more through the personal profile. But it's very important that you are not forgetting about your business page. So what Emma is talking about, like messenger bots, is an amazing strategy to have, both places working for you very well, because, people will be checking you out. And when they're checking you out professionally because they're considering maybe working with you, they will come to your business page, right? So they want to see posts that are recent posts. They want to interact with you somehow. And of course, you can implement so many other really cool things, like you can produce a video and ask people to comment on your video, and every comment will start a bot conversation that they can maybe get like a preview or something. There's so much fun that you can do with that. Of course it requires strategy but how do you my question, that I know that the question from people who I teach would be how do you manage all this in one go? How do you manage these bots? Like, what if people start replying to you? How do you make people understand that this is a bot and this is not you? Because maybe you didn't see the replies and you feel bad that you didn't reply to them. I know that some people are dealing with this. They're seeing bots as like real chats that we have in our personal messenger. So what would your advice be? How to approach this, maybe in terms of mindset?
Yeah, well, firstly, you can kind of have half and half within bots. So you can set up an automated message that can go out to somebody. So you can obviously broadcast, you can send like subscription messages, or they would click on a link and it would lead them to something and it would send them a message. But you can actually choose at some point to respond to them yourself if you have the time. So it's still saving you time because you're still getting your message out there and you're still communicating your message with all these people at once, and it's all happening on an automated basis at the same time. But you have access to all your messages in your business page inbox. So you can actually go on and reply as a real person. If you want to kind of change that to that person. But yeah, the other thing that I would say, so I kind of use a bit of a mixture within mine. I do like to reply personally to some people. So it's kind of automated and me actually being there at the same time when I do have the time. But you can also, at the end of the day, it's you that's speaking. Even though it's a bot, it's an automated message, it's you that is actually speaking to that person. So you can kind of paint a picture of where you want to lead them, and you can do that authentically. So it's just about you kind of leading the conversation. So when I'm creating the bots, kind of imagine the conversation, pre-imagine it in my head, exactly how it's going to go, and how it's going to flow. And then kind of lead the people in the direction that I want to lead them with that. So it is pretty real and pretty authentic when I'm implementing this into my bot. It is like I'm actually there. And then I can, at any time, I can step in myself if they're asking something that doesn't kind of fit within my bot, then I can just step in there. And
it's actually a very interesting point about leading them through the conversation, because when if you say imagine the conversation, you're like, well, I don't know, they might ask anything. But when you're actually just giving people options, they tend to just go and choose one of those options rather than ask you a question. It's very rarely that they start asking you a question when there's a 3 options. Say they're like, okay, well, I just have to choose. It's just how our brain works, that we just need to choose. And that makes it, for us as marketers, it makes it so much easier to actually lead them towards a conversation and qualify them, because if somebody's not interested in what this bot conversation is leading them to, you'd want to know that as well, because you don't want to, it's okay as well to lose some people along the way, right? Because it's
totally. And that really does happen, which is kind of why you always give them the option to unsubscribe if they want to unsubscribe. It's not the kind of thing. I always put that in a lot of my messages. So you do lose some people. It just means it's not their thing, and that's fine. Because
that's the biggest thing that people are afraid of, is when they're saying, I don't want to offend anyone, or I don't want to, lose somebody. And you're like, no, attract the best, repel the rest. You do not need people who are not interested in who you are and what you're selling. You don't need them. So don't be afraid. I'm always, I have a very interesting question. As we're talking about authentically connecting to people, I've seen many people using, actually saying this is the bot, and they give the bot a name. And they're using this little bot to help them, communicate, so sort of people understand that it's not you there in real time chatting. What do you think about that strategy?
Honestly, it's not for me. I don't like it, because I'm a brand and I'm a business. It's me. My brand is me, and I'm not a bot. And it's me that's crafted all the messages. So yeah, personally for me, and I wouldn't advise any of my clients to use that strategy as well, but obviously it's always going to be up to them. I think that your brand is you. It's who you are. You should be authentic. And the way that I'm having conversations with people within my bot are very true to the real conversations that I would be having. Whereas if I was going to pretend the bot is a bot and give it a name, I would have to come up with a different persona for that bot. And that wouldn't feel real to me. I want this to be me, and me communicating my message with my audience, and leading them on the journey that I want to take them on.
That's actually a very, very good point. That's a very good point. So I have one more question for you. And this is something that you mentioned. You were talking about showing up, being visible, and how that can improve your mental health. And this is something I agree with. I think that over my journey of visibility, say in the 2 years, it's not that I never had problems with mental health, but I definitely have a huge boost to my self-esteem and the feeling of self-worth, and how I value myself. But what was it for you, or why would you say that it can improve mental health?
Yeah, it's a subject that I love talking about because it really touches my heart and me personally in my journey. I've suffered from anxiety and depression since I was very young age. So it's always been a part of my life. And in fact, 18 months ago, I had anxiety that bad that I couldn't speak to people on the phone. I couldn't leave my house. I was having panic attacks constantly. And I definitely would not have been able to launch my own business, do a Facebook Live, or have an interview. And kind of, for me, showing up every single day and building my business in this way and showing up authentically. So even on the times when I was going through struggles, showing up and saying, look, guys, this is what I'm going through right now. This is what I'm feeling, and this is how I'm dealing with it. And being vulnerable in that way. I've inspired so many people along my journey with what I'm doing. And not only that, but it's given me more confidence every single time I've got out there and put myself out there and connected with people. It's increased my confidence and my mental health along the way. And it's been a process, and kind of just showing up every single day, being there, being real, being authentic, being true to myself. And just saying, look, guys, this is me, this is who I am. And having that consistency it's great. It's completely changed my life.
It's amazing. I cannot believe from knowing
lives and video has played a massive part in that.
I absolutely believe that, because as I said, I've also experienced such a boost to self-esteem, but I would not believe that you would be a person who suffers with, say, anxiety to such an extent that you wouldn't leave your house, from what I know you. So while we read sometimes articles about social media, affecting our mental health, and especially Facebook, there's a lot of blame, but actually when you are showing up, you are constantly pushing your comfort zone, right? So you are extending that thing, because when you are having mental health problems, I think that it's this feeling of helplessness and loneliness, and a lot of people are afraid to talk about it, afraid to open up. But because you want to build your business, you want to show up, you kind of have to do this. There's no other. For me, it was like there's no other option. I just have to show up every day. I know what I'm doing. It's a big, long journey, but by doing that, you're constantly growing personally, and as you're growing personally, you're becoming so much kinder to yourself, maybe even to an extent. Would you notice that? It's just a kindness, that acceptance of
Yes, just accepting who you are and just learning to just kind of be in the moment, I suppose. So rather than expecting yourself to be something else, it's like you're pushing yourself. And I'm incredibly consistent online. I won't go a day, maybe the occasional day or whatever, really, really struggling. But I'm incredibly consistent with it. But kind of just being there and just being gentle with yourself and just accepting the fact that sometimes you're not going to have good days. Sometimes you are going to have good days. Sometimes it's going to be a struggle. Sometimes you're going to struggle with your kids and nothing's going to go well with your life. But if you still, no matter what happens, you're still pushing yourself to have that consistency. And the acceptance is just being kind to yourself as well.
That's a huge reward.
It's not going to be perfect, but it's the action that you're taking. It's that consistency and accepting the fact that you're not going to be perfect, and you're not always going to show up as the best version of you, because you might be having a bad day. But the consistency and the action is what's going to help you transition through to become a better person and a better entrepreneur. That's
so true. I was just, I saw a post on Facebook. I think it was Marley Beard, a YouTube marketer, who said that showing up, there is it makes you humble, because you don't have to wait until you're like polished, your whatever you're saying is polished and everything is so polished. Because we're looking at, some people who are really successful, they have big teams, they have everything's produced, and you're like, well, I'm not like that. How can I compete with that online? And you're forgetting that social media, for example, is just a big bunch of people, ordinary people just like you, who are fine with you being you and not looking at something that doesn't seem real at all.
Yeah.
you know, because I find that whereas some people who are successful, they maintain the that authentic part of them, that you know that this is what you get. But there is a lot of put on fronts and that kind of thing that you just don't know. Is this the real person that you're dealing with, or what is it? It's picture perfect, and that stops so many people from starting to take action. You know, I know a lot of people say if you're writing long posts, as the way of your, you know, your content and your writing is, and you're saying, how can I write if this person's so good? I never written. I remember I didn't write before. I actually tried to hire somebody to write 5 emails for my sequence, and then I went on Facebook and I wrote a post about it, and and realized I'm a good writer. In that one day, in that one moment, when I read my post back, I said, hang on a second, I'm not paying $500 to anybody. I can do it myself. But it took me a little bit of courage, you know, a little bit of practice.
Yeah.
And you just need to start somewhere, you know. And to be honest with you, I deal with people who are starting, you know, this is people who come to me in my course, and they start doing things, small baby steps. But I think that these baby steps are the most important ones, because you can see the confidence and what we're discussing here, you know, how you accept yourself for who you are. You don't expect yourself to be perfect. You don't expect yourself to be like, you know, polished, ideal version of yourself, and just laugh at yourself a little bit sometimes, you know, sometimes open up. And because people hold so much inside, when you know that the person that you follow experiences the same thing, that creates a very powerful connection, much more important than whatever we talk about our offers and our businesses, isn't it? This is what social media marketing is. It's personal connection.
Yeah, definitely. That's what creates the emotional connection. It's just turning up and saying, yeah, this is me. This is who I am. This is what my day looks like. My child is driving me crazy. You know, nothing's going well. And yeah, I do put posts up online like that because I'm very, very real. And my audience absolutely love it. You know, the feedback that I get from people is that, I just love how real and honest you are. And you just talk about what it is to truly run a business and be a mom at the same time, because a lot of my audience mums, and they're all kind of sat there, you know, because people are sat there and they're thinking, oh, you know, I've got it really difficult, I must be the only person that's struggling with this. And to see someone that they look up to or that inspires them is actually going through the same problems that they are, you know, that helps people just feel that so much better about themselves and about the situation that they're in.
It's so true what you just said. Is somebody thinking that they're the only ones, and they feel bad about that, you know, they're like, why can't do it, but why can't I do it? And they just start feeling bad, and that feeling resists, like that feeling causes more resistance, and so nothing is happening. There's no progress. But taking a tiny step every day, just a tiny step, but just you need to commit not to the steps but to the everyday part. And that just over the period of time has huge results, doesn't it? And if you look back to 18 months ago, and we started, I think, at the same time, our online business. When I look back 18 months ago, somebody just recently posted one of the interviews I started doing a year ago. So it wasn't even 18 months, but I looked at it and I was saying, oh my God. And my guest who posted it, he said, look how far you've come. And I thought, yes, just by doing daily things, daily actions, small things, and just pushing through. Sometimes when you're feeling something you're resisting, I've learned that you need to do that particular one thing. That's where the goodness is hiding.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, for me, it was like, especially doing live videos, it absolutely terrified me. Doing any kind of live videos, but that's what helped me kind of get through it, just pushing through it and getting on and doing it. And you're right, you just get a bit better every single day, and it's about that consistency. So every single time you show up and you do it, whatever it is, whether it's talking about writing or posting written content or live video, or you know, whatever it is in your marketing or your business, push yourself. Whatever it is that scares you, do that. That's where the growth is.
That's true. Was it Will Smith, or maybe it's just a saying that, you know, the happiness lies on that other side of fear. So you just take one step to it, and that's all you have. And we all pushing ourselves. You know, honestly, you know, we all have reservation. We all have resistances. We all have reservations. Do I look good enough today to do the video? Do I feel like doing it? Oh, I have to. You know, we are entrepreneurs working from our home offices. You know, that means that we only dress up on the top part of our body sometimes, and you're like, do I want to put makeup on? But I have to do this. And the thing is that if you haven't done this, then not only you didn't make your progress, you actually went back. This is what I've learned, that if you don't push tiny bit and do this one thing that you commit to, you don't need to have something instant big results. But if you do this one small thing today, say you needed to record a video, just record that video today. Because if you don't do it today, tomorrow you'll have more stuff to catch up to be where you want to be.
Yeah, definitely.
It's kind of like if you're not exercising and you're saying, I need to lose 6 pounds, right? But if you don't exercise and you continue eating the way you continue, so in 2 weeks, you're going to be losing 8 pounds and not 6, because you've been doing this. You know, it's kind of like, it's a weird thing, but I've noticed if you're not consistent, you are going backwards. So you're not even staying in one place. And that scares me. As a growth hacker, it scares me, thinking that I'm actually regressing. You know, so that's what pushes me at the back when I get up. But yes, look, guys, the bottom line is that just do it. Just show up. Be you. Don't be afraid of being you, because you deserve to be heard. You deserve to be seen. And your story and your message is not something that people are not interested in. They are, because they're going through exactly the same things. People who you will attract are going through exactly the same thing. They maybe are going through something that you already overcome, or maybe they have overcome it and they will reach out and help you as well. We all kind of help each other in this social media world, don't we? Keep each other afloat when we're down, and, you know, inspire when somebody else needs that. So Emma, where can we follow up, and maybe if somebody wants to hire you as a coach, or even just to find out what you're talking and follow you, where do we go?
Would be my personal Facebook profile. That is where I am, and I've got all the links on there. I currently don't have a website. I'm actually launching it, so it will be out next month. So when it will be launched, it will be emmahammond.co.uk. But currently, for now, it will just be my personal Facebook profile, and just type in Emma Louise Hammond, and you will find me.
Perfect.
Yeah, so if you go onto my personal profile, and I've actually got a link there for my social media strategy challenge. So that's within my group that I host for empowered women in business. So it's basically a free challenge, which is it takes you through 5 steps. So 5 steps to enable you to put together a social media strategy challenge to increase your visibility online and get more eyes on your profile, and therefore more people who know that you are. So yeah, just literally the link is on my personal profile, so you can click on there and it will direct you through to the challenge. I will be, however, removing it from my group in 2 weeks' time because I've gotten something new planned.
But we can still join your group.
Yes, you can still join the group.
Okay, guys, so you have 1 week. Actually, from now, you will have 1 week to get this when you're watching it. And if you're watching this on the replay or on YouTube, just go and join the group. I'm going to have a link to both Emma's personal profile on Facebook and her group. Join the group, and I'm sure there's going to be something amazing inside the group for you. Emma, thank you so much for being my lovely guest today.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And guys, definitely follow up. Emma is an amazing person. She really shares her story on her personal profile. It's a pleasure to follow it. So even just for inspiration, you can get so much out of that. Definitely follow Emma. And guys, thank you so much for watching this. I will be with you next week with another episode of Show Up, Stand Out. And so far, don't be afraid to show up as you are, as myself and Emma told you. It's okay. It's okay to be you. Thank you very much, guys, and bye-bye.